a few minutes to hop back in here. Get everything pulled up on my side. Make sure that is muted. There we are. Okay. Gonna get everything together while we wait for everybody to get in here. This guy. Yeah, I just started the live. Did you need me? Okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting for people to join in. Getting everything ready to go. Say hello, hello when you come in. Hello, China. Welcome back. Give it a few more minutes to see if anybody else is going to hop on and join us. Ignore my blank cup. That's my teacup. That's the only one I drink tea out of. So at this point we should have our cup, should be completely cured, nice and ready to go. I've got a couple little bumpies on mine, but we're going to go over how I do that because we're wrapping this with a clear wrap, and so if you sand it, those sand lines will actually be stuck under your clear wrap and they won't go away. They'll just be permanently there. So you can't really sand it after you epoxy it before you wrap it. So we'll go over kind of what I do for that. Now, if you were just going to use the pattern, like if you were just going to cut this pattern out of black and you were just going to put the black pieces down, you could go ahead and sand it because the black vinyl is going to cover up any of the sanding marks, and then everything else will be exposed. It's not going to have the rest of the clear pieces over it. So then it would cover up all your sanding lines. So if you have it cut out of black vinyl, you can sand it if you want to, if it's nice and good and ready to go and not tacky. If you're wrapping it though, don't sand. Now if you're doing a solid wrap. Let's see who else. Got China and then Bubbaloo. Bubbaloo. My son is Anthony. He's the one helping me moderate and comment and make sure I keep up with everything. So I'll give everybody a minute or so to catch up and hop on, and we'll go from there. It's kind of funny how different they kind of turn out, because you're not ever going to get the same. You can try, but I mean, probably not going to get the same. You might get close, but you're not going to get the same. Kind of funny how different they turn out doing the same thing with the same colors even.
That's good because not every cup's unique.
Yep, that's right.
Or not every cup is the same.
Yeah, not every cup is the same.
Unique,
Every
but
cups are
not the
unique.
same. Not, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I got it.
Or that's what I said.
Alrighty. Go ahead and grab me a pair of scissors. I'm going to go ahead and cut down one side and then either the bottom or the top so we can make sure and get it level, and then make sure that it lines up before we take it off of here. So just kind of take and cut down the side here. just want to make sure I get the top to be the top. Just cut it right up to this clear vinyl print. Did not cut very straight here at the beginning. I'm going to try that one again. There we go. So that way we've got so we can line it up on our cup on the top, line it up on the side. So wrap it around and make sure that we got it where we need it and it's nice and flush. The nice thing about this is, like, since it's clear, if it doesn't match up, it's not really gonna matter because this pattern doesn't exactly like match up. There's not any spots that have to directly connect to the other side. If you are wrapping it around and you see that there is a spot that's gonna overlap, the nice thing also about the clear is that you can actually just take and cut that spot out, and then you could just put it in an empty space somewhere. You could even put it on the bottom of your cup if you wanted to. So just kind of take a look at that and see if you have any spots that are gonna overlap that you might wanna cut off. So let's see. I think I might have a couple, but we'll kind of see how they lay. Let's see, we had somebody else join us. Oh, Mom and Dad are here. Hey, Mom, Dad. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim off those three right there. That way they can be put down in an empty space or on the bottom, just because I don't want it to overlap. Yeah, once we actually get it, I'll probably just scoot that one back over, because otherwise you're going to have a weird white spot there. Probably scoot that one over, and then we'll see where the other two fall. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started on this part. So I'm going to take my cup off my turner here, and I'm going to get it wrapped around. Pull out for a second so I can actually wrap it around the top here. Make sure I get it nice and flush and flat and straight and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to take and wrap it around like that, kind of see where everything's going to lay. Kind of look one more time, see if there's any spots that I think might touch. I think we're good everywhere else though. Alright, so go ahead and get it wrapped around like you want it. Make sure it's nice and flat, flush against the top or the bottom, whichever one you chose to cut around. Wrapped around like you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it in my hand. I'm going to kind of lift off this side that I didn't cut off of. And I'm just going to carefully not get a whole lot of fingerprints behind it. Pull it back a little bit, and we're going to cut this off. And then we're just going to smooth it right down. Okay, so we can get that nice and smooth and on there. And then I just realized, you know what, I didn't tell y'all how to get the bumpies off. So, 1 second. I'm going to grab my Scotty peeler. If you don't have one of these, I recommend getting one. They're so nice to clean your cup rims and edges and stuff, get all that extra epoxy and stuff off the top rim to have it nice and smooth. But what I will do, if I have any bumps that I think are going to interfere with my wrap or look really weird, because you don't want to sand under a clear solid wrap, I kind of take my Scotty peeler and I just kind of like shave off the bump. That way it doesn't cause like a harsh sanding line, but you still have a smooth finish to put your vinyl wrap down on. So once we got that, then we're gonna go ahead and finish wrapping our cup. China, are you ready to go? I know it may be a little hard to comment if you're holding your cup and everything else, but I'm gonna give you a minute to kind of catch up before, if you're a little behind, getting it lined up and all that fun stuff. See if she's able to say she's good. Yes, ma'am, good to go. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to make sure this is nice and adhered to our cup. And then we're going to turn it around this way. And we're going to roll our vinyl off of this paper backing. You can use a squeegee if you'd like to. If you're doing a full vinyl wrap, I recommend using a squeegee that has like the felt tip on it. Otherwise, you can just use your hand like I'm doing here. I kind of just roll my hand back and forth over it to get it nice and flush all the way across there. And try to minimize any bubbles that happen in our cup. We don't want wrinkles, we don't want bubbles, so we try to keep a nice fluid motion of going around our cup and then just slowly pushing this backing off as we go around. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hoping y'all can kind of see what I'm doing in the camera here. Trying to check and see how far around we're getting to the other side.
Yeah, they can see it better from the face cam.
Okay. So we just go back and forth, back and forth. And then once I kind of get pretty close to the other side, I'll go ahead and take the rest of my backing off. Try to hold your cup to where it's not just going to go whoop and flap over. And just keep with that solid motion all the way around. And then I'll go around and smooth it out with my hand. Smooth all the edges down at the top. And go ahead and smooth the bottom. And then you can see where I cut off those 3 spots a while ago. You can kind of see it looks like it's a little bare right there. So in that case, what we're going to do is we're just going to cut those spots apart. And we're going to see which spots fit best in our little gappy area. Because we don't want it to look really bare, but we don't want it to look like have them all overlapped either. So I'm going to take this one. And kind of put that one there. Get that spot some fill in. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go in that spot there. And then I think that one would be too much. I actually think that looks really well right there. So we're going to leave this one off unless we see another spot that you might want it on your cup. Then go ahead and apply it in that spot. Take another look around. Make sure everything looks okay. Make sure we don't have any big bubbles. If you have any big bubbles, go ahead and get those out with a bubble popping pen, or you can use like the tip of your craft knife if you don't have a bubble popper. Looks like mine's pretty good. Alright, how are we doing on our wraps? Did everybody get it wrapped and spots filled in? How are we doing? Some jamming going on outside. Did you get your wrap ball on, Miss China? Awesome. Okay. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to trim out our bottom edge and we're going to trim out our top edge. Let's see, my trimmer is at 2 spacers underneath. I do like to do 2 spacers underneath for the bottom of my cup and 1 spacer underneath for the top of my cup. Only, and the difference is because like on the bottom you see how it's like rounded right there, and if you just do one spacer, you barely get to that edge of the little rounded part, and it will still cause the bottom vinyl to bubble and wrinkle, and we don't want that. So I go 2 spacers underneath for the bottom and 1 spacer underneath for the top of my cup. And I always start, like if I'm doing a wrap, I start where the wrap ended and began right here at this little seam. That way I have a spot visually that I know I've made it all the way around my cup. So we'll just push it up against there, all the way around. Alright, and then once we've got that all the way around, you'll go through and you'll remove that part that you just cut off. These clear wraps are very sticky, which is nice to stay on the cup, but not so nice when you need to get the rest of it off. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull that off of here. This is another reason you want to make sure that your epoxy is good and cured before you do this. See if I can get a hold of it. It is sticky stuck. There we go. I'll put one piece on it. Here we go. Alright. So once you get that off, let me see. Wait a minute, what happened? Oh, I didn't get all that off. I'm going to leave that on because it is wanting to pull up my epoxy because my epoxy is still a little bit sticky. So, pull this piece off that's sticking up. Alright. So now I'm going to adjust it and then we'll do our trim on the top. If your vinyl on the top is good to go, you can leave it like that if you want to. I prefer to have it completely smooth, and I have a spot up here that's not laying down right. Let's see if I can get that one. Oh, that wrinkle came out, so let's see. Because it's pretty straight at the top, and it helps that this one is a clear wrap and the vinyl pattern is not like, doesn't have to exactly connect, it's just some spots with some pumpkins. So actually I think I'm going to leave my top alone. It's actually quite even and smooth and good to go. Get the glitter off my rim. Yep. I do think I'm going to leave my top alone. It's quite nice and flush and lined up, so I'll leave that where it's at, so I'll have it for next time. Oh, don't let the extra vinyl stick back to your cup. There we go. Alright. So that was pretty simple. Just applying that vinyl wrap once your epoxy is cured, getting your edges all nice and cleaned up and trimmed off, and then your top rim. So now what you want to do, this vinyl is waterproof, so you don't have to like seal it or anything like that before you put your epoxy on. You're actually ready to go with your last layer of epoxy on it as it is right now. So this is a 20-ounce cup. I recommend doing just 20 ounces of epoxy. I use, again, Mr. Nola's Speed Dry. That way I can mess with it in a couple of hours and we're good to go. And then it cures rather quickly, so that way I can move on to the next step or get it to its customer faster. So yeah, 20-ounce cup, I'll use 20 ounces, so 20 ounces, don't use 20 ounces of epoxy, 20 mils of epoxy, so it'd be 10 of part A and 10 of part B, and that should cover the rest of your cup, because now this is not raw glitter anymore, it is a smooth vinyl wrap, and so it does not take that much epoxy at all to seal this in. But once you've got your vinyl on, you've got it nice and trimmed up bottom and top if you need to, then you are ready for that second coat of epoxy on here. And then this cup is finished like this one here. So this part was pretty simple, sweet, straight to the point, and quick. So I know we haven't been on here very long. See who else is watching. Hey Teresa, Teresa's on. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Like I said, I know part 2 was kind of short and sweet and fast, but not real hard when we're just wrapping it around and trimming her up to give her that finished, pretty design look. Anybody with any questions? Hey, Mom and Dad, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I love how different they turned out. Same glitters, everything, just I chose to do 2 different, I guess, spots for the glitters. So they turned out a little differently. But that's okay. That's what makes them all unique. Thank you for taking the time to do a virtual. Really enjoyed class today. I hope to have class again with all the ladies. Yes, China. You are very welcome. Thank you for joining me and doing them virtually. I do plan on having a class in December. That will probably be the last in-person class though. Most of mine I think are going to go to virtuals. I'm trying to work it to where Miss Rita can get in here too, but I think it's just going to be easier going forward for everybody to do them virtually. It's just getting harder and harder for scheduling and things like that. So we are probably going to transition, well, we are going to transition over to virtual classes after December. So, but I do appreciate you joining me, and I look forward to having you in class, whether it be virtually or in person. I'd love to see y'all. We'll still have to do lunch dates or something. So, but all right, if y'all have no more questions, let's see. For me, that is doing the vinyl on my cup. And Cricket, do I put transfer tape and wrap it around the cup? Good question. So yes, you'll want to put your transfer tape on all your spots and everything. So you'll cut it out. You'll weed all those spots out. Put your transfer tape over it. You want to go ahead and like pull the paper backing off with your design on the transfer tape just to make sure everything's going to release from the backing. And then just carefully, lightly put your paper backing back over the top of it. And then wrap that around your cup. Make sure it's going to all line up. And then just like I did at the beginning here, just kind of peeled it back a little bit and held it. Cut off part of that paper backing. Lay that part down just like I did. And then wrap it all the way around just like I did. The only difference is you'll need to remove the transfer tape. Where I didn't have transfer tape because it's one piece. So that would be the main difference with that. But otherwise, yes, just transfer tape, transfer that on, and take your transfer tape off. So, good question. Thanks, China. You're very welcome, Miss Teresa. Anybody else have any questions or anything? And like I said in the first video, just if you have any questions, after we're done with the live, if I'm no longer live and you're still working on your cup, or you think of a question later, just let me know. You can send me a message, you can post a question on the video. You can call me if you have my number. Does not matter to me. I am still here to help. So just let me know if you have any questions. I'm still happy to help them, answer them at any time and help you guys out. So don't think I'm going anywhere just because I'm transitioning to virtually. I am still here to help and answer. I'm hoping since going virtual that I can actually help more. And be able to do more and show more and have more tutorials and more lives and things like that. Even just pop-up lives, kind of like I did the other day in my Create with Michelle group. If you're not in there, make sure you're joined in there too. I did a pop-up live the other day. I actually am going to pop on in a little bit and do another live today. I'm going to do an alcohol ink live with a nativity scene. So I'm hoping I can actually bring more tutorials and things to you doing it virtually and just kind of doing it on my timeline too. So that was another thing I wanted to do. I love teaching and I wanted to be able to do that more often. So yeah, don't think I'm going anywhere. I'm still right here and will be here. So anyway, I will get off of here, and if you'll have any questions, just let me know. See you guys later. Bye.